Hello, welcome back to Wendy's Colouring. Today's my finished pages for the very little that I did in December and what I've done in January. So they're two mashed together, which I don't think I've actually ever done before, but there you go. First time for everything. Yeah, haven't got a huge amount done considering it's 2 months worth, but I've got some that I've enjoyed. Got a couple of naughty whips. That my bookmark has literally just fell off as I picked it up, so that was well worth planning that in. So this is a whip from Christmas that is now not getting done till much later in the year. I did start, this is just my Christmas book from the discount store in the UK, B&M, from quite a few years ago now. Might be 2020, possibly Christmas 2020, I'm not sure, it might be 2021, but certainly you won't be able to find it if you go in store, sorry. But yes, I got this far, so I do tend to start with backgrounds if I know that it's going to be a bit annoying and slow going, which I knew this would be because it's quite a repetitive background. I think these are in my luminance because I did have my case at school before Christmas, so I think I did use my luminance on this, so that's pretty much all that's on here yet. And as you can see, there's still an awful lot to do on here. I'd mainly concentrated on the snow areas just because I knew that's obviously taking up the biggest proportion of it, and yeah, I wasn't quite sure what to do with these kind of track places, so I thought actually I'm going to do that first, then it's out the way with and then done. And then obviously I did start on some of the little houses, just doing the kind of outside sections. Oh, and I was doing the snow on the roofs of these little houses as well. I've done all those bits and pieces, so where I've used blue in the snow on the ground, I haven't in the roofs, just because I wanted them to look slightly different, which they kind of do, don't they? And obviously I'd started on doing the actual building colours once I'd done the roofs in, and I think that's where I was up to. I've not finished the buildings on this side, so I've started doing this kind of church shape, but I've still got these buildings to do, these ones, and a couple of little ones in the background there behind them, so still an awful lot to do on it. Obviously plan to get it done, but you know, December is what it is, isn't it? We spend our time running about like crazy loons, so didn't get much time to sit and colour. And obviously there's quite a lot going on here. Just the background did take me quite a long time, and just the roofs they've got quite a lot of faffing about with as well, so I quite like where it's up to. But yeah, it's gonna get left now for quite a while in my loose leaf book that's falling apart from B&M, my adult Christmas colouring book. Might be back in December to try and finish that off, hopefully, if I'm good. Next one I did get done, hurrah! Escape to Christmas Past, a colouring adventure by Good Wives and Warriors. I hadn't actually coloured in this book, goodness knows why, because I do like it. It's kind of like a vintage Christmas look to it. Paper in mine, somebody did say to me on my comments that the paper in this was more yellow, but to begin with, but it seems very yellow now. But I've coloured on it anyway because, you know, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to explode, is it? So we'll see what happens to it. What did I use? It feels like an age since I did this. It did take quite a while. These little although they're only little, I think are they 8x8s, these? Although they're only little, they seem to take me ages. Every time I work in one of these, I think, oh, that'll be quick. No, it's not. I suppose they're doubles, aren't they? So it's kind of not small, really. You might have seen a little bit of this already because I did do the background for this with those new watercolours that Lightwish sent me. So if you want to see how I did the background, that is in the Lightwish watercolour palette video that's obviously on the channel. So I showed you how I used the watercolour in all of this background, but basically I prepped the background first, even though the paper's, it's quite thick paper in these books anyway, and I was kind of, it'll probably take the watercolour here, but I wasn't sure, so I have put a layer of my Lightwish acrylic markers down first, the double-ended ones, the ones that have colour on both sides, and you'll see that if you look at the Lightwish palette video, watercolour palette video, you'll see what it looks like before I start to actually paint on it. So it has a coating of that. Basically anywhere that is sky had a coating of that. I didn't do the clouds. Then once that's set and dry, then I've used that watercolour palette to add all the sky in, and I've used some of the normal watercolours, and then towards the top, as you can see, it has a bit of metallic sheen at the top. Some of it has a couple of coats on it just to build up the effect. But yeah, I quite like how it's worked on this page. Obviously there was a lot of sky, so I didn't want it looking too boring. Pencil work is, can I remember? I can't even read my own writing. It does help if I write properly, doesn't it? Luminance pencils and some Lightfast pencils. So all of this cloud work was probably just in luminance. Quite a lot of white luminance to kind of smooth them in and blend them together to create this kind of effect that I've got going on. Some of the gang out markers are on this page as well. That's pretty much it really. It's mainly just watercolour background and colour pencil foreground. Obviously the buildings took a while. I think I did do an undercoat of some of the acrylic markers on some of these buildings. I definitely did an undercoat on this one, and I think possibly that chimney. Can't even feel it now. That is one thing about those Lightwish markers, the double-ended ones, because it's not kind of a paint. It kind of feels like an acrylic ink, maybe a little bit thicker than acrylic ink. I do like them in this book because you can put a good base of them down. It gives you the colour pop that you want, but then because they sit so smoothly on the paper, you can shade over them like they're not there. So you're still just seeing a bit of the colour, but you're not getting that horrible kind of texture where it's eating up your pencils, if you kind of know what I mean. I quite like how they do that. It's, hold on, I should mention which ones. Go back. Put them in a different drawer. What an idiot. Anyway, these ones, I quite like them because they do sit very flat on the page. I've pretty much run this one out now, sadly. The light side, I've done a few skies on it now. And obviously it's only half a pen, isn't it, in terms of what's actually in it. But yeah, I quite like how they sit flat on the page so that when you put a layer on, you kind of can't feel where you've put, like I know I put acrylic on this, but if I didn't know that, I couldn't have told you. Maybe a little bit on the edge there, I can feel it. They sit really flat, so for me as a colour pencil colourist, they're perfect for me. That they can put a background colour on, it just speeds up the process a little bit, and then I can work over with colour pencil like you haven't put acrylic on it, and it's not doing that horrible I'll eat half your pencil stuff up. So yeah, that was my finished Christmas page. Although it's not too Christmassy, is it? I could have probably got away with this any time of the year, I think, this page. And maybe that's what I need to think about in some of these books. Like, it could probably get away with a few of these pages even though they're not too Christmassy, like probably some of the food. I'm not going to do the pattern page, let's be honest. Saying that, and then I keep... Yeah, see, that page I could get away with. Good know that it's not too Christmassy. But yeah, I quite enjoyed my first page to Escape to Christmas Past, a colouring book adventure, Good Wives and Warriors. Let's pop that there. Then the other page that I did get done in December was, is it my first page in here? Yeah, I think it's my first page in R.J. Hampson's Serendipity, his new one. And I did this one. Again, ups and downs, I think. Obviously this does not have the better paper in on the softback covered versions, and as you can see I wanted to use some watercolour. It is a bit of a mistake. I did do one coat of those Lightwish acrylic markers again to kind of protect the page, and as you can see it has kind of sealed the page, but although I wanted this background to be very shiny, as you can see it is very shiny, that does involve quite a few layers of watercolour and it was too much. for this paper and 1 coat of acrylic. It's a tricky balance with the acrylic markers. If you put too much on, then you get a kind of quite waterproofy surface, and obviously I want to put watercolour on. If you don't put enough on, which I think is where I am with this page this time, as you can see, it's warped quite badly in this area. Still like it, but yeah, it's not quite as flat as I might like. The hardback paper does tolerate this a bit better. It's not watercolour paper, let's be honest, but it'll tolerate it a little bit better. So this was, my little birds are in Luminance again, Caran d'Ache Luminance. The background, like I say, had a coat of the Lightwish markers. Then I've used a selection of my own watercolours on this background. Again, there's a few layers, there's a few different colours, but the watercolours that I've made myself, I've got a video for how I make them. It's way, way back in time. You'll have to go back quite far to find it. It's way before I knew what I was doing on YouTube. It's not the best video, but it's to show you how I make them. Gangnam markers again, and a little bit of the Lightwish Super Golden markers, just for some of the details. I think inside the little stars, the little snowflake in the middle, and there's some in the little bits of the snowflakes that kind of got lost in my watercolour, but the silver in there is some of those Super Golden markers, and a little bit of the blue in there as well. A little bit of Posca white to do the snowflake in the middle. But yeah, apart from that, colour pencil. I kind of like the inside of it. The background is a bit of a mess, let's be honest. Sadly, too much water. Not great enough paper, but there you go. First page in R.J. Hampson, Serendipity. Then we're on to January. Hooray. So I got this one in December. Again, I think there's a flip on the channel if you want a better look at it. Colours, Colouring Adventure Books. And it's basically a 4 styles in one book. But I'm really loving the portraits in this book in particular. Not portraits I've seen in any of the pages before. Can I get that up without knocking it off? Yes. Couldn't get my bookmarks to stay in these flippy books. So this, yeah, I really quite enjoyed working on this one. Pretty simple to start off with. Nothing too tricky. I've used those sets of Ahuhu markers that I got sent. So I've got 2 of the little bags that Ahuhu sent me, 48 sets. I think it's a brights and a pastel set, and then I bought a 48 skin tone set, as you can see. Yeah, skin tones. I've not really done a huge amount of different skin tones, so I thought it'd be quite nice to try something a bit different with this book. And yeah, so this is my kind of first of a different toned skin. And yeah, I quite enjoyed doing it. I don't know, is it successful? I've still got a lot to learn. I can't say otherwise. But yeah, I did it in the markers first, and then I've worked over with my luminance again. So a good chunk of it. In fact, I could probably show you how much I marker based it. So as you can see, I've done a lot of the background. I put a bit of a background on her hair. Obviously her skin is all marker based. The rest is in coloured pencil. Yeah, I really quite enjoyed doing this kind of Aladdin look page to it. I liked the colours. Kind of really limited myself to oranges because I'd done this kind of pink purple marker base in the background. I thought, right, okay, I want to kind of stick with that colour palette now. I'm just going to stick with the oranges and those warm tones. No blues. I've got a tiny bit of green in those little bit of bushes because it was kind of unavoidable, but nothing else really. Quite enjoyed working on her hair, but the portraits in this book I think are really lovely. I think it's highly likely to be coming back next month, this book, because I really enjoyed working on this page. A tiny bit of Signo sparkling just in some of the little bits of trim in her. Hold on, let me fold it back on itself. That would be a sensible thing to do. Just on little bits of the trim, so you can see here and there, and a little bit on the buildings, just for a little bit of glimmer. But yeah, I really enjoyed working on this page. Obviously you can play about with pretty much whatever media you like on this because the paper's so, well, it's card, isn't it? It's card. But yeah, quite enjoyed it. My first page in Colouring Adventures. I won't be able to find the front because that is always the way. Oh, there. So yeah, highly likely to be popping back next month because I love these little portraits. Then I thought, about time we had a go in this one. It was in my books to some of my favourite books, wasn't it? That's what I put it in. And I was determined I was going to do some when I've got a little bit more time on my hands. So yeah, started in the bunny book, what are we calling it? Tomiki's colouring book series, Yuki-san's fairy tale fantasy picture book. I'm not reading all that, that's overkill. It's lovely and it's cute, and I've been wanting to do this page for so long, and yeah, it did take me quite a long time. I cannot lie. This side took me a long time, but I did really enjoy working on it. It's just so detailed little page with so many little details in it that I just really enjoyed working on it. And now I've just seen I've missed a bit of leaf there. Look at the top corner, idiot. I always manage to miss something. It's only because I can see it on my camera. I didn't notice in real life. Whatever. Anyway, never mind. And then I did the little costumes that go with on the other side. So, on this I have used... First time I've used my Gansai Tambi paints. I got, a few months ago, I got those... Is it an Art Nouveau set? They're quite muted, unusual watercolour colours, so I've started using those. So the background is that, and this kind of funny pink tone is that. As you can see, it's not the most even. In an ideal world, I would have liked to have worked over with a colour pencil, but this had taken me so long. I think I'm over this page. I'm going to live with watercolour marks for now. I might at some point put a bit of shadow behind my garments on there, but not at the moment. At the moment I was done with it. So yeah, use those in the background. Then my lovely husband got me the Super Colour Softs by Kandash for Christmas, and I was dying to use those. Don't they look nice on here? I do love the colour palette in them. Use them with my museum aquarelles, and the two together are watercolour perfection for me. Some of it I have used wet, like some of the backgrounds on the floors, and some of the fabrics and bits and pieces like that. So here and there I have been touching in with my brush just to wet them here and there, and they do dissolve so beautifully. It's just instant when the water hits them, isn't it? They're a very nice pigment to work with. And the two sets together I really enjoy. I have no doubt I'll be using them quite a bit in this coming year, because I think they're closely coming to be a favourite for 2024, definitely. I've used some Tule Art markers. I've got the yellow set, and obviously yellow acrylic paint can be quite see-through, which when I was doing the dresses, some of these bits and pieces where I didn't want the black to show through, the little flowers around the dress, just odd little details like in some of the flower centres, rather than having to go over it many times. I think I still needed 2 layers with the Tule, but they're a little bit more opaque than some of the others, aren't they? So I do have the yellow set. Some of them are already starting to misbehave, but that's a different question. I like them when they work, hate them when they don't work. Bit of sparkling Signo gel pens, only in little bits, like there's a little bit on a little mirror there, there's a few bits on the dresses. Probably can't see it very well because they're only little, there's some on her wings at the top there, you can just about see. Little details on the dresses with a little bit of glitter here and there. I don't think I did it on the other side. His little fairy wand, his little star, that's a bit of glitter as well. And that's pretty much it really. Yeah, mainly just colour pencil. I have worked them quite a lot dry on top of these, so sometimes I put a colour underneath, just a light tone, and then I've worked up and worked with them dry. I like them dry as well as using them wet. I think my only small stag for me is that I don't love a hexagonal pencil. I find it kind of cuts into your thumb a little bit when you've been pressing at it for a while, and obviously this has taken a lot of time. But yeah, I do love the feel of them. They are a lot softer than my Albert Duras. I love the colour palette in the Albert Duras, but oh, they hit my hands. So the Super Colours are, yeah, they're a lovely pencil and suit me a lot better. So very pleased with those. And obviously this has been wet quite a bit. This lovely Japanese paper, still completely workable both sides. This is probably the worst one, but still, yeah, it's completely fine to work. It's a little bit, you know, crinkly like they get, but yeah, very pleased. Enjoyed this a lot, this page. Love this little book. If I didn't have to go to work, I'd colour a lot more of this book. It just takes ages. But it's so cute. Where's that little house gone? Look at this. This I want to do. Lovely little witch's treehouse. I won't start looking through this book because it's fatal. But yes, the little bunny book by Yuki-san, I'm saying. From Amazon Japan, one of my faves. Hopefully get to do a bit more in it this year. Then another book that is from my faves, that because I was making that video I was like, yeah, I want to colour in that now. Spooky colouring book by Sarah Zwiecki. Probably said it wrong, sorry. But yeah, did a single in here. Unusually for me, this was in Prismacolors. I don't use my Prismas a huge amount, mainly because of the cost of them here in the UK. Full set of 150 is running at £200 last time I checked on Amazon. No, I'm not paying £200 for a set of Prismas that will be half cracked, and you know what they're like. I like them when they work, I don't like them at that prices, and yeah, anyway. Moving on. This is all in Prismas anyway. I do like them. I do like using them. I don't like the price of them. I don't like how quickly you get through them because they're soft. And they're replacing them. Not cheap. I'm just moaning now. Sorry. But yeah, Prismos, Sparkling Signos, gold again. I'm using that to death. It's mainly in these little starry things that are his friend. And some Gangna acrylic pens again. Yeah, they're just, I've quite enjoyed this page. Although the background is obviously quite woody, I actually quite enjoyed doing it. Making it look kind of, I wanted it different colours from the bed and different colours again from the carpet, and then I wanted the frames a different colour, so messing about with different woody looks to build up his little log cabin, and his little chicken friend. And is that a crab? I don't know. I'm not liking the crab friend anyway. I quite like his little fish slippers though, they're cute. But yeah, I enjoyed this page. It was a bit of fun to do. And yeah, paper on this book, lovely, really like it. So I think that's my second one in here. Yeah, I think this one was Artex. I think I definitely prefer my Prismas in here. Artex have got a bit shiny in places, so perhaps might be a Prisma book for me. Spooky by Sarah. Sorry. Then another book that was in my favourites that I was looking forward to working in was Starall by Maria Troll. Obviously I have the Swedish version. I think the English one's out 6 months, June, July possibly, but I love this version. Doesn't matter to me that the cover is not in English. Who cares? Not me. I'm not going to read it. I'm just colouring it. So I did this page again. It's my Super Cool Softs because, you know, they're new. And I wanted to use them, and I did again. I quite like them on this paper. I've used them wet in the backgrounds, but mostly dry on this page. Wet was okay on this Swedish paper, not really buckled at all. It's done alright. And yeah, I quite liked enjoying doing this one. A fairly simple page. I think I should have done this hill behind the girl just a smidgen darker, so her head stands out a little bit more. I think her and the background are a little bit similar, so I made a bit of a mistake on it, but I did enjoy working on it. Again, museum aquarels with the super colours and just my acrylic markers again, just to get rid of some of the darker line marks in her hair and around some of the leaves and around the edges of the the hills, all of those kind of things. But yes, I enjoyed doing it, although I've just realised I've not coloured the star in. I've done a nice illuminated effect around the star, but not actually coloured the star. Clearly did not look carefully enough. So yeah, my star will be gold when I remember to get the pen out and do it. Sorry. This is a quality video where I'm just pointing out my mistakes. Oh dear, what kind of a month. But yeah, I really like this book. And again, it's not taking me that long, this page, because they are mainly all singles in this book. So again, I'm thinking I might do another one of these during February, just because I've enjoyed it. They're quite quick. Kind of thinking I need to do those two together, so they're kind of day-night maybe, I don't know. Maybe, although you're kind of seeing the night sky on both, aren't you? Oh, and the lighthouse. So maybe they both need to be night. Maybe I'm talking rubbish. Yeah, I've enjoyed it anyway. So, first one in Starall by Maria Troll. Then I've got one that you might have seen on the channel already, so ignore the smudge. And I've still not done the glass jar, which I was going to do a little bit more on. But this was with my pastel pencils that Lightwish kindly sent me, the Naomi ones. So it's all in chalk pastel. And I know some of you have had mixed feelings about the chalk pastel noises. Sorry, I don't think anybody enjoys the squeakiness, do they? But yeah, I was quite pleased at how well it worked for a whole image, really. I think when I started on this, I was thinking I would just do the sky and maybe a bit of the hills. But because you can get them sharp and you can still get into some of the spaces, well, actually I'll give the whole image a go. Why not? So it's literally, that's all that's on here. It's just chalk pastel pencils. And yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's obviously much quicker. Again, there's a full video of this on my Naomi Lightwish pastel pencil video. This is towards the end of the video that I colour this whole bit. So if you want to see how I've done it, pop to that video and it will show you how I've done literally everything that's on here so far. I just need to do a little bit of colour pencil work on the glass jar, but in order to do that I need to get some kind of fixative for this. So I have ordered one, but it has not yet arrived. So once I fix the pastel and I can lean on it a little bit to work the glass in, I will just finish off the glass with a little bit of grey tone just to finish it off nicely. But as it stands at the moment, I don't want to put my hand on to do all the glass work. And although I could do it upside down for glass work, I kind of want to see it the right way around, so I'm getting the reflections in the right place. So yeah, a bit of a learning curve. First image I've ever done with chalk pastel pencils. But yeah, it's gone okay. It's gone okay. I just have to keep putting it in places now, so I don't keep smudging it even worse. This book I bought quite a while ago. I might have had it a year, this one. So this one was from Amazon France. It's Night Fairies. It's one of the older Coulier books. Not sure whether they still sell this one at the moment. It's got quite chunky, thick print in it, this book. If my camera wants to focus. So yeah, I have a bit of a love-hate with it. I like the images, but some of the line work in it is a bit heavy for my tastes. But I have started on this page, which I think is a lovely page, of this Night Fairy. Seems appropriate, doesn't it? So as you can see, I've been working just purely on her skin tone up to now. So it's literally just, in fact, I've literally got a handful of what I was using right here, because I've literally just stopped to record this. So I've been using a couple of my Luminance, a Derwent drawing and a acrylic marker pen, as you can see, and that's literally all I've done so far on this. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to work over the black areas on here, maybe with some kind of purpley metallic watercolour, something with a bit of glitter in. And I'm kind of thinking I might do her kind of pink purples, something like that. and then maybe some metallic watercolour on this. Do we think this is the moon? I'm thinking it must be the moon, but it's got these flowery shapes on, which is confusing me. But yeah, nice little night fairy page that I'm in the middle of. I'm not sure what to do with this thick line here. Like here, obviously I can ignore it because it's just going into the background, but where it's eating into her hair, I kind of thought if I go over that with the marker, it's going to look odd because she'll end up with a lump on the end of her neck there. I need to try and make it into the hair, I think, don't I, is the answer to that. But yeah, that's as far as I've got. As you can see, I've not done her eyes or anything yet, but that's as far as I'm into. So this will be popping up next month, hopefully finished. In fact, may as well leave my little marker on the page. But yeah, so Collier's Night Fairies book from Amazon France. And that is pretty much all I have got done during those 2 months. Most of that was obviously January. A couple of those were December. Obviously, the kids at school just keep giving me one cold after another. Still a little bit bunged up, as you can perhaps hear. Sorry. Yeah, hopefully at some point this year I won't have a cold. That would be a nice moment. It might never happen, but you know, I'm kind of just living with having constant colds at the moment, taking all the supplements you could possibly take, but yeah, just still doesn't want it to go. No, I'll just stay with Wendy, just make her ill all the time. But yes, hopefully I'll get a few things done in February. Service resumed as normal. I'm going to do a colouring plans video for this month. Obviously I didn't for January because I just, yeah, I was behind with everything. So January was a bit of a disaster, but hopefully we'll be back on it now. I'm going to record colouring plans next and a few other bits and bobs this month. So hope you're loving your colouring and doing something wonderful. Always interested in which of these you enjoyed. Feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, hope you're loving your colouring. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.